constructing your learning. So that's very much brain-based. There's a head check. Yes. All right. So get some paper to write on, the back of your handouts if you want to. And at your tables, just one person, one writer, one drawer, I want you to make a rough drawing of the brain. Just an oval is fine. Okay. And then label the 4 lobes, the cortex. You might have to go back and look at your notes. Okay. Label the 4 main lobes and review the major functions of each. We're going to be comparing pictures too, so make sure you're
drawing any good?
No. You're very good. This is better than theirs. That's not bad. That's not bad. Parietal.
This is here. This is the back, right? The arrow is this, right? Yeah. It should be here. It should be in between.
You're ruining it?
The arrow is here.
A fight.
This is the arrow, right?
Yes.
This is here.
Yes.
So it's here. No, this one only. No. Because the arrow didn't reach, so it should be. And this is your brain, okay? So that's why.
That's a good brain. It's like hair.
Before it. Okay. So let's go to the function. Yeah, but the upper part. This one. Because it didn't reach, so we need this part. Vision.
Wow.
Occipital vision.
Occipital. Yeah, and make sure you review the functions of each. It's probably more important than where they're at.
It's perceived and assembled. Your example was, for example, I'm looking for a pen. I don't see other things except for what I'm looking for, right?
Yeah, if you're looking for.
So it's also possible sometimes we have issues like inside the classroom, we tell them, if I'm the teacher, then you have, even if you're talking to someone else, one child, or you focus on one child, you have to make sure that you see everyone in the room.
Yeah.
There are teachers who cannot do that. Really, their occipital lobes didn't develop yet.
That's right. Well, it's also, I'll be getting into this a little bit, but they're also have trouble like seeing patterns. You know, like when a new teacher is in a classroom, what they see is 30 kids. You and I look at a classroom, we see. Yeah, but we don't have to see it. See, as individuals, we kind of see. Okay, I got 3 or 4 kids, or in the outskirts are kind of doing this, and a couple of kids are doing that. So you don't really see 30. You see more like 7 or 8 sets of kids at the same time. Does that make sense?
Okay, so you are there. Vision, so what you see.
Okay, so occipital lobe does very good. Temporal lobe is in charge of auditory, good. Parietal lobe is
receives information from the body.
yeah, it's in charge of the motor skills and stuff. And then the frontal lobe is
It controls everything actually.
well, it's where you're more the conscious thought. Yeah, yeah. See? All right. Let's go ahead and move on to neuron communication. Just to review that all behavior, thought, and emotion consists essentially of communication between neurons. All of these millions of brain cells communicating. So an actual thought or actual memory isn't stored in a particular place in your mind. Okay? There's not like a place in your mind that's got 21st birthday, okay, there's basically this network and circuitry of neuron connections that has the memories for your 21st birthday, okay? And it's stored in different parts of your brain. For example, you may, if you went to, on your 21st birthday, if you went to a park, well, you saw grass and trees. So there's a connection going to, you know, where you've got grass and trees and green and blue sky and all of that stored. So it's actually a pretty efficient way of storing things. So nothing is duplicated. Okay, there's not like two spots that has, like, for example, the green in your shirt, the green in your bag, the green in your bag. There's just green somewhere. There's a connection that's focused on green. So whenever you think about something that's green, it activates that particular neural connection. Okay, that's how we're able to keep learning more and more stuff. You'll never get your brain full because you're not packing stuff in there. You're just making richer and deeper connections. I'm sorry?
Associations.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. The way the brains communicate is internally they use electricity, a very low voltage or low wattage form of electricity that travels from one end to the other. Okay. When that electrical charge gets to the end of the nerve cell, the dendrites, okay, where one nerve cell is connected to the other, it looks like this. This is a close-up picture of like one connection. They're called synapses, so I'll start using that word. So a synapse looks like this. So the electrical, the pulse goes to the end of the dendrite, and at that point, it activates something called the vesicles. The vesicles release a chemical. So the communication switches from electrical to a chemical form, okay? And the chemical goes through, passes into the synapse, the gap between the two nerve cells, from one to the other. On the other side, this is the new neuron. The dendrite on this side has receptors that are each focused and concentrating on receiving one particular chemical, neurochemical, okay? And then the ones that, and the neurochemicals are probably the most common one is serotonin, okay, which is that pleasure chemical. The rest of them, the ones that didn't quite get across or didn't get picked up, are then quickly, instantly, basically absorbed back into the neurons. So you don't have those neurochemicals out there. That's actually how drugs work. A lot of drugs like alcohol or barbiturates work by inhibiting the body's natural response and reclaiming those neurochemicals, leaves them out there for a lot longer. So you get the feeling of that synaptic connection for a prolonged period of time. Okay. So anyway, that's how it happens. Is electricity goes through down one spine, the spine of a particular neuron. Okay, connects at the synapse, and the electricity triggers a chemical signal that goes across the synapse, absorbed over here, and then when this happens, that sends an electrical charge down the next neuron. Okay, all that happens extremely quickly, which is why you can think fast. Questions? Good, because now you know all the science I know about neuron communications. This is a close-up, and we've seen this picture before. So that's just, the electricity, electrical charge, synapse, electrical charge. Pardon me?
Dendrites are like two fingers.
Yeah, they're exactly like, well, not exactly, yeah, they're like fingers that
Something like
almost touch. Yeah.
And that's how you have the signal going from one.
Absolutely right. Yeah, you've got dendrites, and then so when a teacher has a child remember or review or recall, or when you build on what a child already knows, what you're doing is you're activating that signal again. You're making that communication happen again, and what that does is actually strengthens the synaptic connections. So you're actually making those stronger and stronger. Okay. The more times you have recalling and processing a particular idea, okay, the stronger those synaptic connections are. So if you see the little fingers there, okay, this one only has like 2 sections. If it goes through again, your body automatically makes it a little bit richer. It makes the connections a lot firmer, and so then it becomes. They can recall the event or the fact or the skill a lot more easily. which is what we're going to talk about in our next head check, okay? This is an active one. You don't get to touch, you get to almost touch. So pretend that you're a neuron, all right? And your arm is an axon, like over here. If you don't mind almost touching me, okay? So if I'm a neuron, so I want to communicate with this guy, so I send an electrical charge, okay, to go down my axon to the dendrites over here. Now, what's happening here? Okay, so that's what I want you to think about. Process at your tables. Go ahead and be a neural connector, circuitry, a neural connection, and talk about the electrical. We'll talk about how the communication is relayed both in terms of electricity and also in terms of chemicals. All right, people, go. They talk about how, like, the more times you activate that connection, the stronger and richer those synapses become.
Like for a particular idea of something, or just like overall activity, or like thinking, like daily life, you're thinking about something or want to do something.
Yeah.
If you're repeating it again and again, not for a specific thing.
But in biological terms, what happens is, like, let's say I say something really interesting. Okay. Well, during this lecture, during this presentation, you've laid down circuitry. Some neurons have connected to kind of store this into your memory. That can be quickly lost. So let's say you get home tonight, you get back to your room, and you pull this paper out and you look at it again. You go, oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah, I remember that. So what you're doing there is you're reactivating those same connectors. And you're basically making those synapses
Make stronger, the memory stronger. And
yeah, okay. Because see, what's going to happen is otherwise that it's kind of a use it or you lose it. So if you don't review, if you don't think about something, it's like if you never ever think about this material again, you'll never remember it. Okay. But if you think about it, if you decide this is so important that you want to remember it forever, you'd want to like read it once a week or something. Every time you read it, you're going, okay, I never remember that. And so you're in biological terms, what you're doing is you're activating those neural connections again, and it makes it stronger. Okay, the synapses grow richer,